Welcome into the Illini Inquirer Podcast. It's Jeremy Werner, Illini Inquirer publisher with you, and I could do a schedule release podcast breaking down the dates that Illinois football plays certain opponents, but why do that when I have two very special guests joining me now? You know him. It's Tay and Derek Piper. What's up, boys? Good to have you on here. Lon, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. I'd probably the world would probably rather hear about the Illini football games, but hey, let's do this. This is going to be great. Thank you for having me. I mean it. It's been a long time, and I'm ready to roll.
It's time to get Derek Piper back on here. It's Tay and Piper, guys. We've brought them back. The show ends in the summer, unceremoniously for Lon Tay. We'll get to that here in a moment. Derek, how are you, buddy? Good to see you.
I'm doing great. This is the first time Lon's talked to me since the divorce, so this was necessary as far as a gathering. You were the perfect one to bring us together, and I'm excited for this.
I'm like the I wouldn't say I'm the lawyer. Am I like the kid? Am I like the mutual friend in this relationship? Guys, how are we? Let's be civil here, okay?
I did blow you guys off for dinner, so there's still a little dysfunction there, but I'm slowly working through it. Slowly.
Well, it's good. It's good to have you guys back on here. Derek, we knew you were leaving radio. You announced that when you left Illini Inquirer. Lon, you didn't tell anybody, buddy. So I'm going to give you a chance now. Like, talk to the people here.
You know, once Derek said he's done, I was full onslaught about continuing to do it. But you guys know the story. Andrew had fall baseball coming up in college, and then spring starts February 21 down in Mississippi. And I just started looking at the idea of how much time I was going to miss on the show anyway. And I thought, that's not really fair to the listeners or fair to Stevie J or fair to Curtis or whoever's doing the show with me. And I'm like, I think it was a great run. Yeah. I could not have asked for 15 better years with you and
15
Piper.
Years, Tay. 15 years of doing that. That's way longer than your TV run, right?
Yeah. TV was 10 years. So it was great, and it was kind of weird the way I did it. I didn't mean to do it that way, but we were going to take that break, and then the more I kind of realized how cool it is to be off from 3 to 5 every day, I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to remain off. So I have enjoyed it. I said I would try to get into this kind of stuff. I just haven't really taken the time to do it, but I left with a smile on my face. I have met so many great people through the radio show, including you two, that are tremendous friends of mine, and Mike Carpenter, and everybody else, Trevor Valise, et cetera. Keep going on down the list. So I was blessed. I was so blessed to do all that. So if I can jump on every once in a while with you and do things like this, that's perfect.
Lon, I'm happy. Like, you did not need to be doing the radio anymore, and you do not need to be podcasting, man. Just hop on with us. Derek, you broke his heart that bad that he just decided to give it all up right away.
Yeah, I'm glad it hurt a little bit. Yeah, it means he missed it. But no, I mean, certainly it was obviously as we went through, it was hard to walk away from. Lon's a hard dude to walk away from, obviously. Even though he was doing it 3 days a week, before we actually ended the show, he was gone and it was just me and Kyle. So, but anyways, no, I mean, I think I'm glad to see Lon is obviously at peace with it and doing it, the right pull for him with his son and about to start baseball. So we knew that was laid out there for him. And for me, I obviously have my own reasons for it as well, but just a lot of great memories and obviously a bond and a brotherhood that continues, and we get to hang out every once in a while. And this is fun.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll talk Illinois basketball. We'll talk Illinois football a little bit here. But Lon, you've done this before. You've gotten off the hamster wheel and done the 9 to 5. So like you did it. You thought you were done with it, and then you got back into the media. What's it like to get away from it? What are the goods, the negatives? How is it going so far?
It's just I think it's weird. Like when I say this, I loved every second of that 15-year run in radio, but it is weird how, like, there are times like 11 a.m. I'll be at the office and I'll be like, oh, hey, I don't have to do that radio show today. And I can't explain that. It's almost like a little bit of freedom that I didn't realize maybe that I had. But certainly, and again, I appreciated every second and Stevie J was so loyal to me. And, financially that helped me through some times of getting kids through private schools and college, and Arizona State's not cheap, boys. I'll tell you that. It's good having Andrew as a scholarship athlete. That helps. That helps with the premiums. But I don't know. It really wasn't as hard as I thought. And when I jumped out of TV, I had so many people tell me, "Oh, you'll jump right back in. You're going to miss it. You can't stand being away from it." And I really honestly hadn't even thought about doing anything else except insurance the rest of my life. I was content. I was fine. I was coaching my kids. I was spending a lot of time with the boys. And when the radio show, we all know that story, we've regurgitated that a long time, or a lot of times, but when that happened, I got excited again. I did. And I talked to a couple of mentors of mine, like Mike Reese. You guys know, the former play-by-play of SIU, a tremendous asset to me when it came to this kind of work. And, he gave me a few things of, hey, make sure you're making the right money. Make sure you're doing this because it's going to become a job. And it did become a job. So, I'm 55. I've still got plenty of years, I hope, in me, but I was ready to kind of step back and put a little bit more focus on the insurance job and my real job, as I like to say, and just kind of understand that, it was a good run. Don't look back. Move on and have fun now the rest of your life. Especially, I hope Andrew plays baseball for the next 15 years, and I'll be fine with it. I will say this is the first year in like 20 years that I do not have a son playing basketball, and it's the weirdest winter I've ever been through. It's weird. Tuesday and Friday, it'll be this weird feeling at like 4:00 going, don't I need to be heading somewhere to watch a basketball game? So I decided to take this year off basketball, but I think next year I want to start getting back into where I'm going to some big games, high school games and stuff. I've gone to a couple of Illinois games, which is something I hardly ever used to do. So it's been fun, man. It's just a weird feeling, but I'm so happy. And like Pipe said, I ended it right. And to be able to just scratch my itch with stuff like this is perfect.
Yeah. Piper, you and I got to meet up with Wagner the other night, had a good time. Lon ditched us, apparently for somebody else. So we had to deal with that. But we got to catch up, but we're in the middle of basketball season. We're in the middle of an Illinois basketball season. We'll talk about it, Derek. That's a lot of fun. I mean, what Keaton Wagler did the other night, like, what's it like for you you missed that game, but you also don't have to deal with all the other stuff we have to deal with.
Sure. Yeah. It's still a constant thing that Lon mentioned. It's kind of a new reality that you're getting adjusted to. And it's kind of surreal that you're out of it and that you're in this new avenue for life, really. And I think for me, it's kind of interesting. People may have seen, I went to the Iowa game on the road, and I got an opportunity to kind of take a road trip there with my brother and my wife and one of my buddies. And we got tickets. We were lucky to have a hookup, and we actually sat right behind Keaton Wagler's family. So we were close to the bench, had good seats, and that was awesome.
I've always wanted to tailgate a game, Derek. I haven't tailgated a college game since I was actually in college. Like that's something I want to do at some point.
Now, I can say our boy, you've been longer on this, but our boy Caleb Williams gave me a reason where I wasn't doing a lot of morning tailgating because I was still trying to rev back up after the celebrations of beating the Packers the night before. But got to experience it as a fan. Got to put on the orange and blue again, which I had done my whole life. And obviously I went to Illinois and whatnot. So I'm still adjusting to that side of it as well. But it's fun to consume it that way. But outside of that game, I haven't been to another regular season game in person. All the games I'm watching are from home. It's very different to do that. It's fun kind of for me to play the game. I spy Jeremy and Joey and Kyle on TV and whatnot. But me and my son are watching every game in my living room, and got the little Fisher Price hoop up, and he's starting to really get to know the players. His favorite player is Z. He calls him Batman because of the mask. So that stuff you just can't really replace. So there's obviously that pull to be like, oh man, Mackey, oh man, that performance, how it would have been. And honestly, just I liked hanging out with you and Joey, and like being around the staff and the relationships. So, but yeah, some of the work I don't necessarily like. All right, the game's over, I'm ready to do something else. I don't have to, stay up and do what we normally would have to do. But yeah, I think mostly it's just the peace of mind for me, or just the satisfaction for me, is that me and my son get to have those moments. And that's something that I hope pushes forward the years to come. And I'm enjoying that side of it for sure.
Yeah. That fills my heart right there to hear.
Yeah, you both did it for the right reasons, right? Yeah. Like, this is absolutely the right reasons. And if I wasn't so addicted to doing this, at some point, maybe I'd want to do that. But that's why I hired Joey. That's why I hired Derek and have Kyle on our team now. Like, it's so I can have that freedom to do it. And Lon, you mentioned like the radio, just not having, like, you have to be here for us, it was 4 hours, right? Like 3 hours for the show and all that, like not having that every day certainly makes my life a lot easier too. And so it's a big reason I left radio.
Yeah. And I will not get emotional on this one. No, not on this one, but I'll tell you what, I miss you guys. And that's the thing. Like what Derek said, I can remember watching games, and I was playing the I Spy game long before you, Derek, but I'd be like, oh, there's Werner and Wagner and Piper, and it's one of those where you miss those times, right? You like seeing everybody else in the media. You like seeing, you like seeing the whole thing, but it's fun to sit there. And you guys had so many memories, I'm sure, traveling together and doing stuff like that. And that was one thing that when I was younger in the TV business, I got through my head pretty quick that people are going to circulate in and out of your life constantly, especially in TV. And I just finally was like, you know what? Well, there's a weird part of me that's able to unattach a little bit. But through the years, I've maintained friendships with certain people, and they're strong friendships, and it certainly with you two. And so that's one thing that I do miss. I miss coming to the station and seeing Jeremy, and I miss seeing Piper. I mean, that's hard because those were fun. I laughed for 2 or 3 hours every day, and that's fun to do. I mean, look, you don't sit in an insurance office, or I'm guessing a bank, Pipes, and just laugh all day. Although it is fun, there's certainly times where you do, but it was just fun to just come and relax and be yourself. And that was one thing. I think the one talent that the good Lord gave me was the ability to just kind of entertain. And that was one thing that I just truly always enjoyed. And so I miss you guys, but I also understand the importance of everything else. And I think that's where I'm at. But I'd love hearing that you're watching the games with your little boy. I mean, that's just little boy. I mean, he's probably taller than me now. Right. Look, he loves Z too. That's awesome.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to get you emotional here either, Lon, but like, Piper me, Piper, and Wagner got to hang out, and it was awesome. It was just an awesome night where we got to hang out, because we've been doing that for 5-6 years, even before Joey came out with a beat. He was kind of one of our guys on the road that we hung out with, and it kind of led to him joining us. So that was awesome, because Derek was a huge part of my life for 10 years, right? Each other's lives for 10 years. So it was awesome to see that. But I've said it on this podcast, Lon, but like, we don't see each other every day. But one of the hardest mornings of my life, you're one of the first people I wanted to text, like, because I know you're a great friend. And I didn't know who else to turn to when my father died. And I texted you, and your text back to me was something I'll cherish forever. And it just shows that, like, even though we don't see each other every day, like, the friendship we've made, the connections we have just endures, man. So I want to tell you face to face through these computer screens, like, that meant the world to me. And I love you for it, man. Like, it was an unbelievable thing you did for me that morning, because I had no idea what to do, and you helped lead me through it. So I appreciate you, man.
Well, thank you. And I'm glad it helped. And in a weird way, Jeremy, it was easy for me to do because it came from the heart.
Yeah.
I've been through that. I've lost my dad, and I can't tell you how sorry I am for that. And it's hard. It's hard to realize. Here I go. It's hard to realize, that guy has been in your life your whole life, and you look up to whether a parent, your mom and your dad. We all know moms are the cool ones, but my dad was a great guy, and I know your dad, what he meant to you, and all the years that we
got to meet him in spring training, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. And told me stories about him, and I mean, he wasn't somebody that I personally knew that well, but I understood what it felt like that day for you. And I think the saddest part for me was knowing that you were boarding a plane and were going to be by yourself for the next 2 or 3 hours. That was the hard part for me that morning, is understanding that you're sitting here on a plane everybody on the plane, it made me realize that day, like if I get on a plane to fly to Florida, I have no idea. There might be somebody 2 rows ahead of me that's flying down for a funeral or has a sick parent or a sick sibling. And so it kind of made me realize, like, there's probably times where people aren't, ordering a screwdriver, a double screwdriver, and getting ready for the beach. There's things in their lives that are going on. So I just truly, my heart was strong for you that day, because I felt like, man, it's the worst thing in the world to be alone. And you were going to be alone for 2 or 3 hours on a plane. And
but I was, because one of your texts, it meant the world to me, Lon. So that was huge in that moment. So I love you for it, man. All right. I don't want to bring us all down there, but I had to say it to Lon's face right there. Can we get into basketball, but can we go football first, boys? Can we talk to Illini football first? Piper, I'll start with you, man. A 9-win season for Illinois, not college football playoff. How do you kind of soak in what Illinois did this season? Second straight year of 9+ wins for the first time in program history, but obviously did not live up to the number 12 preseason ranking. So how do you kind of take in that season?
It's a really good question, and I think it's one of those where the more it kind of sunk in and marinated, at first you're disappointed, right? You're disappointed because you know where you set the bar. And I think you've done a great job of continuing to state, number one, screw you, Indiana and Signetti, for making it where no one else can rationally, compare and whatnot, and say what's a fair meeting of expectation or rising up and whatnot. But they didn't hold their own in terms of the Indiana game, and the Washington game was disappointing. Obviously, the Wisconsin game was as well. But when you take a step back, and the consistency, which we talked so long, when Lon and I would be on the show and say, what Illinois fans would give to beat Iowa, year in and year out. Hey, here's 8 wins, maybe 9 wins, and that's what they've been able to achieve. And then just the appreciation for Luke Altmaier and what he did in an era where it's always chasing a bigger bag, or it's no loyalty, or it's turnover and whatnot. Like, I know it's not all just him, but that's somebody that you were able to really attach to, and in a time where it's, you listen to a lot of fans, and that's one of their biggest complaints, even though, whether Illinois as a athletic department's having a lot of success, there is still oh, I wish it was like the old way where you got to know guys through the years. And Luke was one of those people. So it's amazing that college football playoff was set as an expectation, that bar has been raised that high. And I think it just took a little bit of time to be able to, I mean, obviously when you get the satisfaction of beating an SEC team and Tennessee and whatnot, puff your chest out. So, it's obviously a big deal what Brett Bielema's done, and an excitement to see what's going forward.
Juan, you still got tickets in the Horseshoe, right?
I do.
All right. Yep. You've had those for years, and you said for years, just give me the bowl games every year. So what is it like that they're doing even higher than that, but the expectations are rising now?
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to Jeremy here, Derek, because Jeremy was the one years ago that was saying, you just want to be Wisconsin or Iowa. And you're right. That seemed so far from what was going to be able to happen at Illinois, I'll be honest. And I know I read your article with like what Josh Whitman said. Like, I had no idea that this program would be sitting here beating Tennessee and doing things like that. So it's tremendous now, but it's also, listen, I would hope Brett Bielema would want fans to be disappointed a little bit, in the sense that, he has raised that bar, and we want to taste a little bit of that college football playoff. And I think the hardest part about this is that it was the last year of Luke. You knew you had an academic now, which was great news, All-American, and Hank Beatty that is gone. And, you've lost some guys, and it's like, boy, if we're ever going to do it, this has got to be the year. But yet here we are, from reading your stuff, we're bringing in a class that is one of the best classes that Illinois has produced in years, if not one of the best ever. So it's not like it's going to stop. Maybe we go down just a little bit, but with today's day and age in the portal, and if this quarterback is good enough to get you some wins with I think a doable schedule, there's some pretty tough road games on there and a couple of home games that'll be fun. But yeah, I'm with Pipes. I hated that Indiana just all of a sudden popped up and had this miraculous. The other day I said to myself, are we prepared as Illinois fans to watch Indiana win a national title and Purdue win a basketball championship? I'm like, I don't think I'm prepared for that. And of course, we can get to the Purdue thing here in a minute. That was fun.
Purdue or Michigan or Nebraska
or Michigan. And it's like, but at least Michigan's done it, right? Like I always looked at Purdue and Indiana and Illinois. We're kind of the three amigos, right? We all kind of, Purdue's had their success in basketball. We've certainly had our success. Indiana certainly had theirs big time. But like football-wise, we've always kind of been the same. So for Illinois to go on this roll of 18 wins in 2 years, that doesn't even sound right. That used to take us 5 years to get to 18 wins, essentially. So I still look at it. I'm ready to renew my tickets. I'm ready to do all that. I'm excited, and I feel like I owe that to Illinois. Even though I'm going to be busy with things, I'll probably miss 2 or 3 games because of baseball and stuff, but who cares, right? It's worth it to continue this ball rolling for Illinois. So, yeah, I was a little disappointed, but gosh dang it, man. Beating South Carolina like they did in what was one of the coolest bowl games that has ever been played. You'll never convince me it's not. And then, of course, this year to beat Tennessee basically at their place in Nashville. I mean, that's kick ass, right? To hammer down 2 SEC teams and of course, that seems to be easy these days for Big Ten teams. So,
Piper, where do your expectations now? What'd you think of the offseason? Keaton Wagler, they've had some wide receivers, redoing the whole offensive line, lost the entire defensive line basically, but get Matt Bailey and Xavier Scott back, which I don't think you thought maybe one of them would be great. Now you get 2 of them back. So it's an interesting offseason of, hey, this is good, but what about this defensive line? What about the offensive line?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think there's certainly excitement and belief in Brett that he can put it together, and that hopefully, I'm not saying that we're going to see Luke Altmaier 2.0 in terms of the success. And we got to remember kind of the bumps in the road that he took a little bit early. Obviously, you get an experienced guy in Wagler coming in and a big arm. I know that's exciting to think about what he can do as far as the downfield passing game. But yeah, the defensive line is certainly an alarm bell going off a little bit. And I think Aaron Henry's got to still prove it across the Big Ten schedule, right? I mean, I'm not saying there's not enough of a sample size maybe to say the trend is, hey, beat up on an SEC team and kind of in a surprising fashion and turn around and have moments in the regular season where you're like, oh, why are we averaging 28 points a game, giving up, or 30, whatever it might be. So I'm really interested to see what his response is going to be. And then I don't know. There's unknowns, obviously, but I think Brett's earned the confidence, and there is some talent on offense that they're going to be a fun team to watch as far as I can tell.
Yeah, well, this is like a offensive-based program right now, yet like the thing with Aaron Henry is like the Washington game is inexcusable, just inexcusable. The first 5 or 6 games, you played some of the best offenses in the country. You didn't have Xavier Scott, so you can waive some of that, and you went 5-1, I believe, in those games. But then you end the season really well, and you dominated Tennessee offense. That was great. So it's interesting, but Barry keeps raising the bar of this offense, and he's been a phenomenal hire. And continuity is not a bad thing either for a program that has rarely ever had it.
And Pipe's just kind of said it. We trust that Brett Bielema can figure this out with the roster construction and which good luck in today's world. I was scared to open the Illini Inquirer every day. I'm like, well, who are we missing today? And then like 3 days go by and I didn't see it, and all of a sudden Angelo McCollum's gone. I'm like, what the hell? When did he leave? It was terrifying to me. And obviously you guys had the good news too, but of guys coming in, but they're guys I don't know, right? It's so different than back in the day when it's like, oh, here comes a kid that we've been recruiting from Mount Carmel for 3 years, and now he's here, and it's like, oh my gosh. Well, now you bring in kids that are probably as good as that Mount Carmel kid coming in, but I don't know anything about them. So I think the alarming part for me, and you guys both said it, was, I went to that Washington game in Seattle, Lucas and I, my oldest, and we had a wonderful time doing that. It was a great father-son bonding thing, but what was alarming to me is I can handle the Ohio State thing. I mean, and I think you played them pretty well, actually. But, getting just destroyed by Indiana and then going to Washington and just looking like you're just so uncompetitive in that game, especially defensively, that was kind of the weird part to me, is that are we really this close, or are guys coming back to us? But I disagree. I think we are getting better. We continue to make strides, but it was alarming that like those 3 especially those three. I mean, the Wisconsin game was just ugly. It's freezing up there. It's everything Wisconsin wants to. They want to just bring you into Madison when it's 10 below and say, welcome to our town. Yeah. But those three games alarm me a little bit.
Yeah. All right. The schedule did get released today. UAB, Duke, South Carolina, or Southern Illinois at home. Duke without Darian Mensah. That helps that game and raise the expectations there.
Is he still sued, or what's going on with that?
They came to an agreement, so it was a little buyout. It's happening. I mean, this is college football in 2026. Purdue homecoming Saturday, October 3rd, then at Michigan State and Pat Fitzgerald. Then you get an off week. You host Oregon, which is going to be maybe the number 1, number 2 team in the country coming into the year. At Maryland, home against Nebraska, at UCLA, home against Iowa, at Northwestern. Derek, what would you set the over-under at? 6.5? 7.5?
I hope it would be 6.5 is probably the right number, right? I don't know. I honestly, I cede the floor to you, sir. I think that if you get over
because I still think they need to add a couple of defensive linemen. I think it'll happen. But I do think my one takeaway from the schedule, other than those, hey, those are dates, is that you get Ohio State early, Oregon after the bye. So it's kind of split up there. And you just have a bunch of winnable games like Duke, Michigan State, Purdue, all winnable, all losable, in my opinion. At Maryland, I think you should win that one, but who knows? Nebraska, UCLA, Iowa is always going to be a tough one. At Northwestern, like there's not a lot of no doubt wins on the schedule, but there's not like a terrifying couple games outside of Ohio State and Oregon to me. So those are the only ones I sit there and go, yeah, probably going to lose that one. Iowa's going to be really tough. The other ones I just kind of look up as, yeah, they'll be favored in some of them and toss-ups in some other ones there.
I think it's funny that Piper ceded it to you. Derek, what's it feel like to come into a show or a podcast not knowing?
It's unbelievable.
It's 15 years, man.
so much anxiety. I told this to my dad and my brother today, and we're not even talking basketball yet. I let my Ken Palm account lapse. I didn't renew it. So I don't know. I guess it's not like I can't afford it, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't need to dive into all the offensive rebounding percentage and all this stuff. So maybe I'm just doing a social experiment on myself. I don't know, but it is a little nerve-wracking not to have, I wouldn't say I always had all the answers, but I did come in a lot more prepared than maybe I am now.
He texted us one day. We'll get to that take here in a little bit. He goes, I'm just a fan with bad takes now.
Hey, listen, you've enabled us, Jeremy. You and Kyle and Joey have enabled us to give up our Ken Palm. To be honest with you, I never had that, of course. I didn't know you actually had to do that. But
offensive rebound rate.
Exactly. I'll let you or Kyle or Joey tell me about it. So you're the enabler here, Jeremy. It's your fault. Real quick on football, I'd rather have the bye week before like Iowa. Like I feel like you could have 4 bye weeks going into Oregon. You're not going to beat Oregon, right? So it's one of those where I think that Iowa game is going to be so big. And you said it's late in the year, right?
Yeah, it's November 21st.
For us, it's time for Illinois. You're at home. This Iowa team lost their quarterback, right? He's gone. He had a great run there. I'm sure they're bringing in other guys. They still have their defense. We understand what Iowa brings to the table. But, man, it's time to absolutely beat them. And, if that's the difference between winning 7 or 8 or even 6 and 7, let's go that way. If Illinois would beat Iowa this year and get to 7 wins, I would consider that an unbelievable season, especially with, a lot of what you just lost. I do love the back end, though, what you said with Scott and Bailey. I mean, that not only the leadership, I think those guys both made good decisions, to be honest with you, especially Scott. I think he can put a lot of stuff on tape to keep climbing up that ladder when it comes to the draft. And then if Bailey could go, I mean, he plays through more pain, I think, than anybody I've ever known. I guess I'm not friends with him, but it seems like he's always banged up or wearing something cast or anything, sling. So I think those two could really help themselves, and I'm glad they made that decision to come back. Not as an Illini fan. I just think personally, I think that was the right call for them. But you give me a really good back end. I've said this to both of you guys before. When Illinois has good teams, they've got good safeties. It seems like that always correlates. So I would love to see 7 wins and a win over Iowa would make my freaking year. I'm ready to
raise the bar to 8 and beat Iowa. I would raise the bar to that. But no, like Derek, Jaheim Clark back too. Like Jaheim Clark, Matthew Bailey, Xavier Scott are probably their 3 best NFL prospects, and they're all in the secondary. I wonder how that helps Aaron Henry, right? Like, just get more aggressive on third downs. Like, if Aaron Henry would just improve by 8% on third down, I think we'd have a much better, different conversation. But it's been an issue for him for 3 years. Is third down. Like, you got to fix that down.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, the stats bear that out. Obviously, you guys have covered that on the site. And I think that surely a good secondary should give a defensive coordinator confidence to let guys, play on an island. I'm not saying that you're going to have Devin Witherspoon out there and be like, all right, well, just one side of the field, this guy's got it, and we'll do what we got to do elsewhere. But yeah, no, that's something that you always want to be able to have, because some of the weaknesses when Illinois' defenses has problems is like, okay, well, if this quarterback has time, they're going to pick apart the secondary. This year, you're just hoping you're getting home in time to support those guys enough. But yeah, I'm excited about the fact that you got a lot of talent back there for sure.
They're going to have time this year.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Maybe not.
Guys, I know you're hitting the gym hard to start the new year, but you have to fuel those gains. And starting the year strong is easier and way more delicious with premium portion proteins from Omaha Steaks. Stay satisfied, get energy, fuel your routine with premium pre-packaged protein delivered right to your door from Omaha Steaks. And it's not just fuel, this is delicious experience, guys. From handcrafted USDA certified tender steaks to gourmet burgers, some of the juiciest you'll have, versatile chicken and pork and more. They have an unmatched variety of high quality proteins that everyone loves. And right now, you can taste the difference and get an extra $35 off at omahasteaks.com with promo code Illini at checkout. Omaha Steaks sent me a box, guys, and I tell you, the burgers are some of the most delicious you'll have. It's really, really tender steak, and they tell you how to prep it, how to cook it, so that you cook it the best way. So let Omaha Steaks deliver high-quality proteins right to your door. Visit omahasteaks.com, get an extra $35 off with promo code Illini at checkout. That's OMAHA steaks.com, promo code Illini. Terms apply. See site for details. The one thing about a lot of deodorants, guys, is it just covers up the smell for just a portion of the day. Well, Mando sent me their starter pack of products, and I can tell you, you can have confidence when using Mando products. They're going to smell good the entire day and not have to constantly reapply. And Mando is a whole body deodorant. It's safe to use everywhere on your body, from your head to your toes, because it is created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO is being misdiagnosed and mistreated. And Mando is clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. I like their solid deodorant stick. It's formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts. You can try their spray deodorant as well. All their products are baking soda free and paraben free, and you can choose from a variety of scents like bourbon leather, clover wood, Mount Fuji, or Pro Sport. Some men mask their BO with scents. Mando men get the job done right. Don't mask it, Mando it. It is available in retailers near you, or head to shopmando.com, because for a limited time, new customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use Illini at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. That's shopmando.com. Use code Illini for 20% off site-wide and free shipping. All right, let's get into hoops. And we're coming off just an unbelievable performance by Keaton Wagler. Lon, where's it rank for individual games you've ever seen?
Number one for me. Number one. When you consider you're at Purdue and you're without Boswell, which I know that doesn't maybe necessarily affect Wagler, but I'm sure in a way it does. You guys know that better than me, probably especially. It's ridiculous how easy he made it look. That's the thing that was amazing to me. He's like, all right, what do we need? You need me to drive to the right, drive in the lane and hit a shot late in the game, a little 2-point floater to pad the lead? Sure, I'll do that. Or do you want me to step back and pump fake, draw a foul, hit the 3, make a 4-point play? I'll do that. it ranked number one for me. I didn't watch Dave Downey when he did his thing, but I've seen a lot of cool Brandon Paul when he went off. That was amazing. But the fact that you're in such a, you're in the Big Ten race. And this is a game every year when I look at that, I pointed this way because my schedule's sitting on the fridge. Every year when I look at that, I say, well, there's your loss, right? There's a loss to Purdue at Purdue. And that's not a knock on Illinois. Who the hell goes into Purdue and wins? Nobody, right? We know that. So to do what he did in that setting is ridiculous. And the fact that there's so much talent on that team and balance, and I want to hear you guys talk about the balance, but the idea that during that game, Illinois guys were like, here, and I'm not saying they were playing scared. Mirkovich will take a shot. Of Isich, we saw it late with Tommy hitting a shot. Jake Davis, love that kid. Everybody does, right? But basically it was get past half, and then here you go, Keaton. You do what you need to do, and I'll be sitting over here. And if there happens to be a play where you throw it to me and I'm wide open, I'll shoot a three. And credit to Illinois for knocking them down. But what Keaton Wagler was able to do, one more thing, not only at Purdue, but against one of the best Purdue teams that they've had. And a veteran team, when you look at the seniors that team has with Lawyer and Smith and going down the list, Kaufman, Wren, to go in there and a one-man wrecking crew that's a freshman, go in there and not destroy Purdue, but beat Purdue. That's number one on my list, no doubt.
All right, Piper, it is on video. It is on the podcast. The last time you were on here, a little skeptical of the Wagler hype. Still tooting that Petrovic believer here. How are we holding up, man?
Oh, crap.
I'm doing fine personally. I as somebody that is really
actively, it was all healthy skepticism. I will say that.
Oh yeah, it was very old takes exposed worthy, and I should be getting anybody that wants to dunk on it should be dunking on it. It was more, like I said at the time, it was more of a gut feel as far as a guy that didn't play the highest level of competition coming out of high school, a little slender, and anybody that was in that building, anybody that went over to Ubben, I am kind of regretting. I got a little bit of a, hey, you should come check out practice sometime. Didn't make it over. Maybe I would have had a different take on the pot. Maybe I would have sung the praises and been one of the first on the boat.
You're not hyping him enough, guys.
Yeah, instead of swimming from behind. But
I mean, none of us saw this guy. Nobody, even in that, I know the building, they were hyping him and they were so excited about. No one could see this coming. I mean, it's an unbelievable story.
No, it's to a level that is just hard to believe, really. And yeah, it is top of the mountaintop in terms of a scoring display that I've seen it from an Illini. I know I did come with some notes. Lon would know that, of course, I'm coming with notes. But there have been other ones, like you said. Yeah, I mean, we saw Terrence, what he did at that Big Ten tournament. And there's some other individual display. Like Kofi had a game. 37-12 against Wisconsin. That was number 11 Wisconsin team. Iowa had a triple-double against the top 20 Wisconsin team. But in terms of sheer scoring, and yeah, I mean, the two main trump cards there, Mackey, number one. I mean, that place is just as intimidating. It's the most intimidating place in the Big Ten. It's one of the top 5 in college basketball, I would imagine. The student section is unrivaled in terms of the amount of students they have, how coordinated they are, how into the game they are. And they just have this kick-ass sound system in there. Like they rounded up. They went to Red Lion, they went to Cam's, they went to all the places, and they just put all the speakers in there, and then they just blast it. So that place is tough. And then he's a freshman. Like, come on, he's a true freshman. This isn't some dude coming over from Europe that's 25 who's a freshman. Like he's legit as far as that age, and the poise is incredible. And he just toyed with them. I mean, we could talk about, and I sat there, I was like, how long is Painter going to just keep letting Oscar Clough get switched onto him?
I said to a Tulip at halftime. He's like, Painter probably got what he wanted, but Wagler's just beating him anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of get some of the, you can play some of that game of, you're going to cut everybody else off and dare this guy to beat you. Well, it was a show. I'm glad he did it because it was fun to watch.
Unbelievable. It was unbelievable to watch, and it's amazing that, I mean, we covered Io DeSumo, we covered Terrence Shannon, like one of the greatest long-term heaters I've ever seen from Terrence Shannon in that postseason. Io, so many great games. I mean, I've seen Matthew Meyer have great games, Kofi Coburn, all these guys. And it's amazing that Keaton Wagler at the end of this year could have a season, because this is like 11 straight games he's produced at an elite level. He can have a season that like rivals Terrence's or Io's final season. Like, that's insane.
Is he 18 still? He's
19,
right?
Turns 19 next month, I think.
Okay. That's like Andrew. My son turns 19. It's like they're the youngest of the – he's 18 years old doing that. You know, and the amazing thing – so you guys know we always have this Big Ten fantasy thing in
next week, February 3rd, baby.
Oh, well, I keep the scoring in our league every week as balanced as Illinois is, where Stojakovic can get you 30 one night, Mirkovic pops off for 20 and almost triple doubles, and then Tommy hits the shot. Big Z goes nuts against Minnesota the other day. But there's always one consistent part of that team, game in and game out, and it's Keaton Wagler. I mean, like Brad Underwood said, and you guys said it on Inquirer, when he went 1 for 9 the other night, he still put up numbers. And, you know, like Brad said to a tease, like, well, if that's going to be his worst, I mean, you guys saw it, everybody saw it, everybody listens to this saw it, but it's like, if that's going to be his worst, I'll take it. And then what's he do? He turns, I mean, you'd think a freshman might be, you know, a little wounded by that. And all he does is go on the road at Purdue and just drops 46. 46.
Unreal. They don't have Colin Boswell and they get that win. Just insane. And now it sets up a huge game at Nebraska 2 weeks from now. Breslin. It's just top 10 matchups after top 10 matchup. Piper, I ended up the last podcast after the game. I've always thought like this is the most talented roster Brad's had. Right. Like I think from top to bottom, depth wise, is the most talented he's had. Now he's probably got the best NBA draft prospect he's had on his team, which is crazy given he just had 2 1-and-dones. He had Shannon and, you know, I mean, Will Riley last year. I didn't even mention him and KJ with the performances we saw last year from those guys. I mean, in hindsight, because we know what happened to the 21 team, we know what happened with the Elite 8 team once they got there. Call your shot. Is this going to be Brad Underwood's best team?
I knew we were going to get here at some point in this pod, and oh man, it's so hard for me. And I'll admit, I think it's just a personal place in my heart where I put that 2021 team. I admit there might just be bias wrapped into that one, but I will say
I think this team's a really tough matchup for that team, though.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things that's really interesting from a conversation standpoint. Is like, are you doing it them versus the field, them versus each other? I think it would be interesting. I did like about the 2021 team is the 3 guards of Io, Trent, and Adam, all plus defenders. So I think you could throw
Andre
interesting.
too.
Yeah, Curbelo, and that was good Curbelo. So 6th man of the year in the Big Ten, Curbelo. So I think there's some interesting things that you could present as far as that team versus this team. How does that team deal with the size that this current team has? I mean, that squad was playing DeMonte and Grandison at the 4. Maybe you have to go double big with Georgie in there against Mirkovic. So, but what I'm getting to is the 2 All-Americans of Io and Kofi. I'll admit, even I can't say anything about Keaton anymore. I'm not even trying to, don't want to. But there is even still a lingering, like, I wonder what he's going to do in the tournament. I wonder what he's going to do in March when the lights are the brightest and the pressure's the most and the coaches are going to do whatever they can. Maybe we even saw, you know, Io down the stretch of that year. You go into Breslin and Manny Sissoko takes a cheap shot at his face. Like, is someone coming for Keaton Wagler? Like, how is he going to respond to that? Like, it's again, like you said, because we know the end of the story, it's harder to say, well, I would trust Io more in that spot. Well, yeah, that team lost in the second round. So long-winded way of saying, I still give the slight edge. To me, number one in my heart, number one in my mind is that COVID year team. Yes, even though they lost in the second round, I would have them over the Elite 8 team. I would have them over this team until proven otherwise, but they're proving a lot right now.
The one thing I would disagree with, I think Keaton Wagler answered it for me and Mackey. I don't think
I get it.
I don't think it's going to matter. Maybe he shoots 1 for 8 that day. I don't know, but I don't think he's going to be scared.
I 100% agree with that. I don't think he cares. I mean, I don't think, in other words, he cares, but I don't think it bothers him, right? I think he just, let's go. And, you know, then, and what's funny when you talk about the 2021 team, and then you look back at the Shannon and Damas team, that if UConn's not in that region, they're a Final Four team. I mean, you beat a good Iowa State team. to get where you were going. And I that Iowa State team was the 2, I think. And I just think that's a Final Four team, and that team was fun. But this team is so – I think what would make it so hard, and I always used to say this on the show, we always talk about Illinois from this side looking that way. If you turn around and say, how do we stop Illinois, that's going to give coaches a lot of fits, especially if Illinois gets those first 2 wins. Or even if you consider getting to the Sweet 16 and winning that game and then turning right around a day or 2 days later, and you've got to defend this Illinois team that Stojakovic can go off if you need to. Mirkovic can do his thing. Big Z can come off the bench and absolutely change the game. And, Tommy, I think, is still getting into where he needs to be. I did take issue, by the way, with Brad Underwood the other day with ripping on the media for that. You know what, Brad? It's fine that we're worried about Tommy.
See, here's my thing with Brad when he does that. I know that he knows that we know he's full of crap. he's just supporting his player, but I roll my eyes when he does that.
Oh, these shit narratives, they said, I'm like, oh, come on, Brad. He's not been good. I mean, he's been good, but he hasn't been Tommy that we think of. But part of that is that's a perfect example of this team. There's so many weapons on this team. And I didn't even mention Kylan Boswell yet, who defensively is just an absolute dog. And, you're able, if you get to that Sweet 16 and Elite 8 and you're able to put Kylan on whatever, the 7'3" guy or we don't have to do that anymore. But this team, I like it. I like this team.
Like they got a chance. They got a chance in this Big Ten, but the Big Ten is hard. Derek, my concern would be defense still. Like, especially with Boswell out, they're still going to have to outscore people. Like they couldn't stop Purdue. Braden was unbelievable in that game. So, Michigan State's going to be really tough. Nebraska's going to be really tough in these coming weeks. So you're still just going to have to outscore people. The great part is you can do it because you shoot threes at a ridiculous rate and you get them back. Like you get the offensive rebounds back from those. And that's why this offense is so efficient.
Yeah, the question is going into this year, will this truly be a better shooting team? It is, obviously. I mean, they're making double-digit threes with regularity to make 18 against Purdue. Is that going to happen? On most nights, no, but the ability to do it is obviously there. And just like you guys have talked about, the number of guys that can go off as far as, Z can pop in a couple. He made some big ones when Iowa was trying to build that comeback, and Z pops in too, just kind of stem that tide a little bit and get the momentum back on your side. Obviously, Tommy can make some big ones. But yeah, defense, I mean, I was worried that for as spectacular and special as that Keaton display was, like in the first half, he was the only reason you were within distance because you just couldn't stop them. And then Braden's making those clutch shots like a true, big time point guard who's been around the block 100 times would do. Stojakovic kind of struggled in guarding him. So I am encouraged because for a large part of the season, I haven't seen the same defensive impact out of Kylan this year. Yep. Until that Bennett Sturts game, because then that game showed up and Bennett was having a hell of a time. And so that encouraged me. We know it's in him for sure. But yeah, the stops is something that you worry about a little bit. And certain guys, are they going to show up on a given, like if someone is able to bottle up Keaton Wagler, then I worry Kylan has a tendency sometimes to, lull himself into taking tough jump shots, and that doesn't go down. And Stojakovic was up and down. And Tommy still, for a large part of that Purdue game, looked like a guy who just turned 48 and he's played 3 extra seasons too long in the NBA. Like, this dude is ginger and can't rebound, isn't playing too physical. Like, I know, like, he made 2 big shots, and obviously we know what he's capable of when he's right, but he didn't I'm still worried about him, to your guys' last point.
I've liked him more lately, to be honest with you. I like that he's not afraid to shoot those, but he is starting to rebound like that. He's starting to rebound a little bit more consistently here. The other thing, Tay, I really like about this team is they got some shit to them. Like there's some like David Mirkovic brings that. I think Tommy does at times. Like when he's revved up, I love it. Z brings that kind of energy. Wagler's a quiet killer, right? But I think Andre's starting to get that a little bit too at times. Like he's feeling himself. So you got to have that swagger. And this team's got it, especially with David and Keaton, the 2 freshmen here.
Oh, and don't you guys always doesn't Brad say Jake's like the biggest trash talker they got on the team?
Well,
So that's the kind of the quiet guy there. I thought Mirkovich was going into the West Lafayette fans at the end of that game. Like everybody else just goes over to the bench and starts cheering with everybody, and Mirkovich is like walking over going blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, relax. No, I'm with you. There's a little bit of that in him. And I wonder, this is one thing I thought of the other day. You know me. I know Tommy has it, but like Mirkovich, Stojakovic has never, or Stojakovic, that was weird. Stojakovic has never been to the tournament, right?
No. Not even close.
So I wonder if, in a weird way, like Wagler obviously has never been. I wonder in a weird way, like this team is like would enter the tournament going, so what do we do? Like in other words, not crazy nervous. Like Io and Kofi and those guys understood the pressures of that tournament. Shannon,
no, they did. They'd never been there.
Oh, that's right. No, they hadn't. So
that was the problem. That's where Kyle and Tommy and Jake have to come in.
But I wonder if a guy like Mirkovich is just like, this is like a Wednesday night game at State Farm Center against Minnesota. I'm just going to go out and try to triple-double and get some points and talk some crap and go from there. So I don't know. I like this team, though. And, of course, it all comes down to the matchups. It all comes down. Give me that 2 or 3 seed, right? Or hell, after that win against Purdue, now you're at least in. I just hate the fact you got to face Jeremy Fears without Boswell. You got to face Peyton, not Sanford, but Bryce Sanford without Kylan Boswell. Although Sanford did his thing in the first half, I was at that game here, but I don't know. I think that's where you really miss Kylan. But if you're going to have an injury, do it now. Get him back, and the fact that this team has rallied without him is just amazing.
Go ahead, Derek.
Yeah, I think from a matchup standpoint, just one thought it has the athletic profile. I think is still going to continue to be something. Like if you face a really athletic team, that's something that I would wonder about with this squad. Now there is the flip side. Like as much as you respect and you watch Houston, there are times where their brand of basketball is not that pretty and they don't make shots. And if Illinois comes in there and makes 13 threes or whatever it might be, then that can obviously be the equalizer. But that's something that I'll continue to. You kind of see the yin and yang of your strengths. Obviously, you have the height. You have the. I do love one different thing about this team. Z's shot blocking presence is a real deal. Like I'm not saying that you're going to play. You obviously don't see him out there 30 minutes a night, but that's a different level of rim protection that you get with him. That we're even against teams that can attack the front of the rim. He's going to be there as a deterrent. That wasn't there last year.
Piper, can I bring up one topic here? I'm not hearing a lot of questioning or doubt about one Tyler Underwood anymore.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I mean, it's been a pretty good run for him regardless of running this offense. I still don't understand how people got upset about last year's team because of your number 15 offense. Like the defense was a far bigger issue. The youth was a far bigger issue, but number 3 offense 2 years ago, number 1 offense in the country now. And he found Keaton Wagler. Pretty good year.
Life's going pretty well for him right now. So the Keaton Wagler evaluation is something that is going to last a long time for him, obviously. And he's been, like you said, the offensive coordinator for some very prolific offenses. Let's be honest, I still look at it, and it's not the most of complex systems. It's not a bunch of sets. Sometimes people watch it and like, there's one action where it's NBA level or it's NBA style of basketball. It's the spread out. It's the playing a ball screen, get guys in space, and I think he's done a really good job. But I did come prepared though. Back to the Keaton Wagler evaluation. I was digging through some of my old texts. Back when I knew people and sources and things that was said here and there, and it was around time for Keaton to decide on where he was going to go. He visited Illinois and Minnesota and a couple of mid-majors as well. And someone told me could go either way. This was down the stretch. Us or Minnesota. We're selling development. They're selling come in and play, and the money reflects that NIL-wise. So just to think back and have the perspective of Minnesota, everything I heard, Minnesota was offering more money. They were offering come be Cam Christie year one.
One and done.
We'll feature you. Yeah, one and done. And Illinois wasn't doing that. They loved him. They thought he was good. They thought he had very much a pro projection, but it was going to be in time. Obviously, if he would have went to Minnesota, Ben Johnson, the wrong Ben Johnson, gets fired. And he's on the market there anyway. Notice in that text, it didn't say he was going to go to Drake, but they didn't have any money. Sorry, Ben McCollum. But anyways, just wanted to share that.
Ben, like discovered Keaton Wagler there. Go ahead.
On the Underwood thing, Lovie Smith's son ruined that all, right? If Lovie's son wouldn't have been the linebackers coach or whatever, then Illinois fans wouldn't have this immediate disdain for a coach's son probably being there. Now, here's the other thing I want to bring up to you. So some buddies and I were texting the other day. Would Brad Underwood coach another 5 or 6 years to set it up to hand it over to Tyler? Would that work? I said that Illinois fans, I don't think, would be that happy with that because –
get to a couple Final Fours, Lon. Oh,
well, you're right. But in other words, you have the program here. Do you hand it to somebody that's never been a head coach in college basketball? We don't need to go down this route.
I think Brad's got another decade.
I hope.
Yeah.
I agree with you. And maybe Tyler at some point says, I'm going to go coach SIU or I'm going to go coach wherever, and get that head coaching.
Tyler would probably be in the NBA now. Is like, I don't know.
Good call.
I don't know about assistant coach, but, developmental guy in the front, whatever it is. Derek, I think he'd probably be in the NBA already if it weren't for his dad. And Illinois is the beneficiary of that right now. Yeah,
I've heard people and seen people at times speculate on, and look, I'm not going to sit here and speak for Tyler and claim to know his, the desires of his heart. I know that sounded a little dramatic, but ultimately, he could try to go to the NBA, and I don't know if he'd be like the quote-unquote offensive coordinator there or some kind of, obviously have a say in what he's been able to do here now, but I mean, to that point, he has the strongest voice here that he would have anywhere in college basketball as of now. Not to say that, if this success projects forward, that he wouldn't get a chance to be, maybe a head man at a low major or whatever that might be. I don't think, from my vibes, he's looking to fly away, even if it is to the NBA, even if it is to a nice job. I think he loves. There's the aspect of they're kind of making up for lost time, him and his dad. The fact that his dad was gone a lot. Of him, coming up and being in high school and whatnot, his dad had to be at other games. And the other thing, I mean, I'm watching a lot on TV. Tyler's talking in those huddles as much as Brad, sometimes more than Brad a lot of times. He's in there and directing traffic, having a big say, being able to, he's got a big say in terms of the evaluations and what they do roster-wise. So I think he's very happy as far as I can tell. And I don't think he's looking – I think he's sticking by his side as long as he can, as far as I can tell.
Can I ask one more question, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Because I want your take on this as well as Piper. But it does seem like on the recruiting front, like you bring in Wagler. Now you're bringing in, like I'm looking to the future here with the two kids that they've already locked into. You're going to know their names. I don't. The shooters and stuff. Is that changing a little bit? Or is it one of those where you're bringing in two of the best? I mean, now we're back to recruiting like some of the best players in Illinois, which is kind of funny. Remember the good old days when we'd try to recruit Chicago and we'd get the fourth best player and then I'd be ticked off for the whole entire show. Or
that was the entire Tay and Jay show experience. Finishing runner-up for Jalen Brunson and Quentin Snyder and Cliff Alexander. Yeah.
Now we're getting kids from Montenegro. I had to look on the map just to see where that's at. But what do you think of the recruiting now? And you guys, either one of you, is it one of those where you try to get one or two of those? We got a kid from Missouri, I think, coming, right? Then you got the sharpshooter coming from up here, who I know he's got a teammate that's really good as well. That never hurts. But what do you guys think of that aspect? Because it is kind of, it almost seems like it's changed a little bit. And of course, they'll still do the portal.
Yeah, well, Derek, we talked about this one of our final podcasts when you were working here. It was just high school recruiting is kind of making a comeback in that you need a couple cheap roster spots.
Right.
You want to take developmental guys that maybe will stick around for a little bit and won't cost a heavy price, but are bought into development. I mean, I think Wagler was bought into that originally. Jason Jackson has done that. Now you got Ethan Brown, and who I really like as a player. The hard part for him, he's got to live up to the Keaton Waglers like after effect here. Landon Davis, but you get Quentin Kitt and Mason Martin, guys who have positional size and skill. So I do think there's a market for that, but you're still going to get some of the best high school players as well. Lucas Murillo is one of those, and obviously the overseas, man. That's where they're finding so many of their go-to guys.
Yeah, for sure. It still feels like on the whole, the large part of your kind of splash big expenditures in terms of, you wouldn't even call them high school, but guys that might be freshmen or maybe sophomores are going to be overseas.
Yeah.
And that's just right now, the way the system is set up, a big advantage to pull guys that have some professional experience who might be a little bit older and some really talented guys, obviously. I certainly miss some of the days, as we talked about, the chasing of the Audisumus, of even the guys that, obviously, I don't think Illinois fans are missing the Brunson, failures and all of that, but the E.J. Liddells, but also you had some really good ones. You get Kofi out of New York, so but like you said, they still have a pull in terms of like a Lucas Murillo, and just look around the sport of college basketball. How many freshmen are showing out right now? So there is still that avenue to go, and it doesn't have to be the 5-star. It doesn't have to be the Cam Boozer, the AJ DeBonsta. It can be obviously a Keaton Wagler. Look at Fleming's at Houston and what he's doing. So that's still cool to know that side matters, but it just is very, very different. Portal rules all, and until we can go on a whole soapbox if Bediako gets to stay in college and be eligible, and then
this is you love this stuff, don't you, Derek?
Oh no, I don't miss this.
25-year-olds playing college basketball.
Oh God! Someone flashed a graphic on X that Chad Baker Mazzara is older than Zion Williamson. I'm like, what? What are we doing, man? And then wait till this 5-year window gets sued and overruled on. So
Kobe White, was Kobe White the same draft as Zion? Yeah, because those guys are like 7-year or 8-year NBA vets, and Baker Mazzara is older than them.
Oh,
unbelievable! It doesn't seem right, but
nothing gets Derek like that.
Jeremy, you and I, when we had our divorce, it was pleasant. We both agreed to certain terms. When Derek and I had ours, it was always because he brought up E.J. Liddell.
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
I felt like I just spent an hour mending this thing, and then he does it again. This is why we can't be together. I can't go out and eat with him.
Kept going to marriage counseling, and that came up every time.
Piper, do you have anything left on your notes? Like that you scratched out? Is there anything else you want to hit?
Oh.
Says we didn't let Lon become Mike Shannon, so we all won. It didn't say that, but I did plan on saying that earlier. He did. That was kind of a promise in between the radio communities, like, Lon, we won't let you age poorly on this thing, like Mike, but no, and he didn't. He did.
This is why I met you guys. What a great line.
Can you give me a Shannon impersonation? Your line. You were always good at it.
Oh, I love you guys.
Ron, did you have anything? Any other topics? Did you have any?
Congratulations on the Bears. That was fun. I've always told you guys they're always my second favorite team. Obviously,
Eric's always a believer in Caleb Williams.
Oh my gosh, how good is he? And I'll let you guys talk on it. I don't want to. You guys are the Bears fans. Congrats, because that was a fun run. And believe it or not, even a guy like me understands how you can't beat the frickin' Packers. So to get it done, even a guy like me was standing up in my living room applauding, because I'm like, finally, get that done. I felt bad for you guys. So congrats.
Yeah, it's just nice to win one against those guys. So if we, go 7-10 next year, because we don't win a bunch of one-score games, then we'll at least always have that. Derek, it's fun. I hope we continue to win football games. It's a lot more fun when your NFL team is good. Sorry, Lon.
Yeah.
It is very fun. As a guy that I'm on the Justin Fields bandwagon until the end. Like, I don't know, between that and I think I got out at the right time. My takes were going a certain way. The signs were there. It wasn't really intentional. I wasn't really looking myself in the mirror like, you're losing it, you got to get out. I didn't, but maybe I was, and it worked out that way. But yeah, and I mean, it's that game was, I'll remember that for forever, it feels like. Getting to Iowa, I got to Iowa City. I had a birthday party for my niece and didn't get to Iowa City till halftime. And my brother and my buddy were already there, already spotted up. You know, we looked up the best place to go and whatnot. And I'm like, this night's already ruined. Like, I'm going to get here, the game's over. And the energy in that room, the Let's Go Bears through it and all the anxiety and whatnot, thinking it's over again when they Matthew Golden sprints in the end zone. And like, man, the clutch Gene and Caleb, though. Some of those the moments at the end of games, it was pretty special. I'll tell you, the hurt of the Rams loss, and yes, I mean, the perspective that you take a step back and you remove some of it, like what they did this year, what Ben Johnson did this year, but that was a hurt that I hadn't felt in a while as a Bears fan, and I'm just glad to have been that bought in again, that it hurt like that, because that was me in the Cutler era. You know, you lose at home to the Packers in the NFC Championship game. Like, of course, you don't miss having those downs as a fan where you get your heart broken, but I appreciate that I'm back in the way that I once was.
I like my heart broken in January rather than September. It usually is.
You guys want to switch spots in the NFC West? I'm ready. I'm ready to move.
Well, I feel like our ownership has been bad my entire life. Like, the Arizona Cardinals is something different, man.
It's just, we won it all in 1947, Jeremy. That's it. That was it.
Can I do the impression of Lante impersonating Jack Buck?
Yes.
Lon, Cardinals baseball.
Oh no.
Ducks. You know, what the heck? Okay, here's my synopsis. Did this organization realize we're not going to compete with the Dodgers with what they're doing right now? And we know that this lockout's coming or strike or whatever it is. And we're going to be smart about this. We're going to get the payroll way down. We're going to let all this happen. We're going to get all these young kids in here, start trading everybody away. And then we're really going to start moving our way back up the chain. I don't know. I mean, I'm 55, guys. I don't know how many more years I've got for a good run. I know Arizona Cardinals are never going to give it to me. So I need the Cardinal baseball team to get back to what they did. Listen to me. Like, Jeremy's like, really? Here we go. We're going to go.
No, you deserve to bitch about your baseball team now. Like, it's been long enough. Like, hashtag Cardinals problems. No, you got real problems right now.
I did.
Welcome.
Welcome. Pipes knows I defended Jockety for like 3 years. Or Jockety, goodness.
Zaylock, yeah.
Zaylock for 3 years. And finally I'm like, okay, that is enough. Because Derek kept bringing up other facts about it. But, you know, I'm going to go down and I'm going to spend $100 to sit right behind home plate and watch baseball at Busch Stadium. And I'm going to wave to you on the thing, because those seats that should be $1,000 or $2,000 are now going to be $100.
That's the one good thing about it, isn't it? Because I took my son a couple of years ago. I took my son to a game, and they were out of it in August, or it was maybe September, but got like 10 rows from the dugout for on StubHub, like $20 a piece, day game. Like, of course I'm going down there and doing that, but yeah, I don't know. The Cardinals are depressing. This is going to make me a bad fan. I largely like to pretend they don't exist as of right now, just based on there's no reason for excitement. They're not adding anybody. Jordan Walker stinks. But my son loves Fred Bird. So that's the one thing. Maybe just have to eat the ticket price to go see Fred Bird. That's all I got in my life as far as the St. Louis Cardinals go.
There you go, Jeremy.
Young guys. A lot of young guys.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll win more games than you this year. It'd be the first time in a long, long time that has happened. But boys, I don't have anything else. Anything else you want to hit on?
Thank you so much for having me. I mean this. This is what I've missed. Seeing you guys, talking to you guys, talking Illinois sports. This has been fun, man. I love you guys and I appreciate it. And let's do this again, please. That was so fun.
Yeah. Thank you, Derek. How are you? Thanks for doing this, man. We appreciate it.
No, this is awesome. And anytime you want to ask and get it done, anytime you have Lante, and we're going to make Lante meet us off camera at some point. Yes. The superstar that he is, we'll have a good time. But this was really, really cool, and I appreciate it.
Hey, and hi to the families, please. Everybody tell your families hi, because that's another cool part. And I know, Jeremy, that's the emotional part that I got on the last time. But it's just been so cool that we've been able to develop not only a friendship, but to watch families grow. And I think that's so cool. You know, I think it's amazing that you kids get to go through now the father, you know, thing that I'm still doing it, obviously, but you watched me, you both, well, especially you, Jeremy, when my boys were young. And
I met Andrew when he was 4 years old swimming in a hot tub.
Little snot. I remember Werner just going, he's a cocky little snot. I'm like, you think? And then
out for him.
Nicest kid you'll ever meet, you know. So at least I have one nice. No, I'm kidding. They're both good kids. Their mom's done a great job with that. But to now watch you guys flourish as parents, it makes my heart full. And I mean,
I can't wait for the T-ball updates for Derek.
Yeah, I'll be taking the videos for sure. It's something that's going to be exciting. The basketball, I've already been thinking like, oh yeah, I'm going to get into coaching, but I'm worried that some of the buy-in from some of the others. Maybe I'm underselling what they're going to bring, but we'll see.
Hey, a lot of parents get loans from.
I was going to tell you, you know, the only thing that would make you a better father is if you bought a house in Iowa near Andrews College, and of course got your home loan through me. So if you want to do that.
Ooh. Hey, can I say one last thing?
Of course you can, Lon.
Of course I can. So Andrew got invited to pitch in the North Woods League, which is a cool league, right? I mean, we know the Cape Cod League, right? That's the real shindig. But this North Woods League is a big deal. So he's going to pitch for the Fond du Lac Dock Spiders in the month of July. So, Derek, I might
go to Wisconsin for a month.
Think I'm going to buy a house in Wisconsin, but I think I am going to Airbnb a house for a month.
That's awesome.
and spend a month in Wisconsin following him around. Because I think at that point, like in college where he might start, at Fond du Lac, he might just come in for an inning, you know, so you never know when he's going to pitch. But hey, I can handle July in Wisconsin when it's 80 degrees on the lake.
Derek, do you think we could get him to put the Bud Light down and get like a Leinenkugel in the North Woods? Or no?
I doubt it. No.
I've already checked. I already went through the Fond du Lac menu at their home games to make sure that they have Bud Light or Busch Light. I've already done that. I was like, before I even looked at tickets, I'm like, I wonder what kind of beer they sell.
Of course you did. Of course you did. Boys, this was a blast. Tay and Piper, Lante, Derek Piper. Thank you, boys. Love you. We'll catch up soon.
Okay. Thanks, boys.
Appreciate you guys. Love you guys.
Bye, everybody.